Hey guys, Chris here with the Good Old Gamer. So today we have some more news regarding Nvidia's GPP program. Kyle Bennett over at HardOCP, he's still a-digging into what GPP is actually doing in the marketplace. Now, since his original article last month, we've seen Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI pull their gaming branding off of AMD graphics cards and graphics products. So we know for a fact that something's going on, but Nvidia really isn't saying much of anything about anything. Seems a little shady for a program that's supposed to be about transparency. And that's the point that Kyle's really hammering home in this new article. But he does touch on a few points that I brought up in a video that nobody else really decided to think about. So I was really glad to see that maybe Kyle saw that video and was like, hey, maybe I should look into this, or perhaps he just had the forethought to look into these things himself. And the video I'm referring to is this one right here, where I was discussing what if Nvidia actually got like Dell or HP into the GPP. Would they be able to take over their gaming brands? For Dell, that would be something like Alienware, and for HP, that'd be their Omen brand. And I went ahead in that video and discussed that it cost millions and millions of dollars for these companies to acquire those. And to me, that would be paramount almost to just stealing, where you have to align a program that you spent millions of dollars on to a specific product that you never intended that lineup to be used for. But anyway, let's go ahead and check out the article and see what Kyle has to say. Alright, he starts off basically just saying that this is a quick follow-up article and references the previous one and highlights the fact that gaming brands aligned exclusively with GeForce. I mean, that was really the biggest takeaway from the original article. As of today, we believe that both Dell and HP have not signed the GPP contract. So basically, that's good news. That basically takes that what-if scenario that I played in that other video kind of out of the question. But he says that they believe that because none of the companies will basically confirm this. Not Dell, not HP, not Nvidia. Basically, this is all done through back-channel discussions with trusted sources that he has. And this last line is definitely a jab at what Nvidia is saying. All of this silence surrounding this certainly reminds us of the first rule of GPP, which is don't talk about GPP. But don't fear, Nvidia has clearly stated that GPP is all about transparency and the benefit to the gamer. So, considering nobody wants to talk about this, that's really the reason why everybody thinks that this is a very shady program, because no one wants to talk about this. Of course, once again, he tried to reach out to Nvidia, and nobody's saying anything. At this point, there's little information about Lenovo, which is the third biggest OEM next to Dell and HP. At this particular point, he just has no sources giving him any information on that particular brand. But of this article, this is the most important paragraph. Dell nor HP are wanting to turn over their gaming brands to Nvidia. I would hope not. Off-the-record conversations suggest that both companies think that Nvidia GPP is unethical and likely illegal as it pertains to anti-competitive laws here in the United States. Now that is a huge statement, and the fact that this is being said in back rooms and back channels means things may actually come to courts at some point in time, if this is the way that some of the largest companies in the industry feel about this particular program. The bottom line is that Dell and HP are very much upset with Nvidia over GPP, and Dell and HP look to be digging in for a fight. That kind of also confirms that if Nvidia does try to play games with either of these companies, according to Kyle, they're not going to get away with it cheap or easy. Now, as mentioned, he brings up Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI, which have already basically started on this. We have seen the Aries branding. This is something that came up a few weeks ago. Basically, Asus is creating the Aries brand for Radeon graphics versus the ROG branding that they currently have. Now, is this really a big deal? The majority of you guys don't think so. On this one, we had 745 votes. 19% of you guys actually think that it might help AMD. 37% said it's probably going to hurt them. And 44% of you guys actually believe that it's not really going to change much of anything. So if you add the 44 and the 19, that comes up to being 63% of you basically think it's either going to do nothing at all or actually help AMD. So the majority of you guys don't really think that this is going to be a big deal. Now, ultimately, this story is important for two reasons. One, it shows that people are still paying attention to the GPP, digging into it, and keeping an eye on it. This is something that it is anti-competitive. We've already discussed that in length. But it's good to see that people are keeping an eye on this. And number two, the two largest OEMs out there are not going to cave in, which means if Nvidia really wants to push this thing to the max, which I don't think that they will, I think they're going to take the win that they currently have and just let it be. But if they did, they will likely lose in the courts, as Dell and HP are too big of companies for Nvidia to really have any effect on. As far as the OEMs coming up with new branding, I'm actually in the camp that thinks it might help AMD, for the fact that review sites and stuff will likely have to re-review their products instead of AMD having to do a rebrand. I basically think that's the whole reason why they came out with the RX 500 series. They just wanted to rebrand it because they had the better drivers since the Relive came out a few months earlier, and they wanted reviewers to retest it and get the information out there. Hey, we have had a large performance increase here. So this might help them out a little bit there. This will also clearly segregate the market even further than we already are. So things will get even more polarized. Now, the reason why I think that's kind of a good thing is you can keep the Nvidia fanboys over here, you can keep the AMD fanboys over here. Personally, I think major fanboys of either group isn't the way to go. I've owned GPUs from both camps from pretty much every generation. I've tested them all out and tend to stick with the ones that work the best. That's just the way that I operate. I like to test everything out. That's me. But you also have to understand that Intel's also likely going to be entering into the discrete graphics card race at some point, probably in the next 3 to 5 years. And then we're going to have 3 separate graphics brands likely at that particular point. And honestly, to me, that's the reason why I think Nvidia came out with the GPP. I think they're actually expecting Intel to come out, and they really wanted to have their market base, you know, their base of customers locked down as much as they possibly can, because Intel's a huge player and they have a crap ton of money to throw around. AMD is doing very well in the x86 CPU architecture side. They're making more money. They're going to be more competitive. So Nvidia is going to be off easy street here in the next couple of years. Pretty much regardless, because likely they're going to have new competition. And like I said, AMD, if they want to, and they can get back into it, they'll be real competitive once again. And people are paying more attention to AMD, and with them actually having their own brands, I think that may garner them even more attention, because you're not going to see, you know, the Asus Aries GeForce card. So it's going to be its own thing, and it's going to be launched in its own lineup with other AMD cards. So I think if AMD plays their cards right, I think that may actually be beneficial to them. At the end of the day, guys, it's going to be up to the courts and up to the companies to decide whether or not that this is legal. Okay, so that's up to them. It's up for you to be an informed consumer and understand what's going on out there and make informed decisions from that point. I'm not beating anybody over the head saying this is what you must do. I did a video saying, you know, if you're upset by this, you really only have one thing that you can do, and that's vote with your wallet. So that's your choice. That's up to you. If you're happy with what you have and you want to wait until Intel joins the fray and then you see everybody going crazy, that might not be a bad idea either. More competition is better. The more players you have in any market, the more that's going to drive up innovation and drive prices down. That's the way things work. So hopefully we get to see more innovation out of everybody, and hopefully everything just gets better. The market as a whole just progresses better. That's why I was excited about the DXR. You know, new technology, that's good stuff. That's going to force companies to innovate and bring out new products and make things better. So that's all I got to say on this. I'll keep you guys informed. Maybe we'll get GPU Mafia Part 3 at some point. I don't know. I'm going to keep my eyes open over there at Hard OCP. Hopefully Kyle can dig up some more stuff, and if I think that it's important, I'll go ahead and share it with you guys, because I did mention the Alienware stuff. That's why I wanted to bring this to you, to let you guys know you don't have to worry about that if you're a fan of Dell and Alienware products. I like their laptops. I think they're pretty solid. So, you know, if you guys were thinking, oh no, I might not be able to get something that I want in the future, you don't have to worry about that. Alrighty guys, if you like this kind of video, please hit that like button, please subscribe, please share with friends. That really helps me out. And if you guys want to join the discussion, join us on Discord. You can go ahead and click the link on the homepage here. And of course, if you want to help support the channel, please go ahead and click on the Amazon link there. And that will use the Amazon affiliate, and that really helps me out, and I appreciate it. But alrighty guys, that's all I have for today, and I will catch you guys in the next video.